just wanted to talk for a second about the difference in process for me personally between writing for myself and writing for a client, because they actually look really, really different on the front end. So usually when I'm writing a song for a client, it's based on some kind of given parameters. And I'm not talking about my composing work where all I'm doing is coming up with music for their text. I'm talking about when I need to write lyrics and provide a song title. I look at the brief, I see the language that they're using, and I might go to my title document, my title ideas document that I've been compiling over the years, and find a title that feels appropriate or come up with a new song title. But quite often I'm top lining to a track that the track producer has created based on the reference. So the feel and oftentimes the chords are already determined. There may be times when I might pitch in on chords and stuff, but quite often I just sort of stick with whatever is given to me musically, and then I come up with melody and lyrics over the top. I do the things that I talked about in many videos where I make the word bank, create the 5-second scene, I refine my concept, then I try to flow out a draft, and then I go back and edit the draft depending on how much time I have, and also depending on how many other writers are in the mix, how many other co-writers. I think what I just described is more of an outside-in approach, but when I'm writing for myself, very rarely do I start with a feel. Very rarely do I just start with a title idea. Usually it's based on some kind of personal experience or emotional experience. Sometimes I might think of a 5-second scene, but usually I don't need one, because there's an emotional truth that I already know I want to communicate, or a relationship dynamic, really specific life experience. Quite often I'll adjust from exactly autobiographically what happened to me, and I'll broaden it to like the model or the stereotype. So I'm getting ready to lecture, so I'm coming into my classroom. I often don't want to reward whoever the crappy person was to traumatize me or give me something to write about. I don't want to reward them by writing a song about that person. So I tend to broaden it. Plus, when I do it that way, I think it's more relatable to other people's experience. So I might go more for the model or the type rather than my specific villain. Or if it's just about an emotional longing or something, I may stay more vague in my wording, where I just focus on the actual emotions and not necessarily on why I'm feeling those emotions or what I'm feeling those emotions about specifically. I just focus on the basic feelings. And I use enough language to give it some specificity so that it's not about nothing other than emotions. But I try to broaden it so that the listener can also relate. It's just interesting though, because it feels like it comes from deep inside. Quite often the songs start to write themselves inside of me before I even have a chance to work it out. I'm trying to document things as I go. Outside in for clients, inside out for personal. It's very different.